At this point, it's just LARP because like he's rich. Okay, he could easily hire someone to just pick up around his house, and they would do it for a little bit of money. That's it. I mean, like getting the house cleaned initially, that might, you know, the upfront cost might be a little pricey, but like it can't be more than $1,000, $2,000, and then after that, you just, you know, have someone come once a week, dust some things off, you know, wipe down some tables, take out the trash. It'd be, you know, it's nothing. Yet so my point is he chooses to live like this because it makes him seem like a relatable person. That's it. This is a very special video. I usually don't react to my goat Hassan, all right, but this video looks interesting. So it's pretty long. It's an hour long. I might split this up into 2 parts. I don't know, but I'm gonna put it on 1.7 times speed. I'm sorry, Hassan.
I want to watch this Asmongold fan thing.
I can't sit down for an hour, bro.
Develop a better understanding of what their appeal is, like where it's coming from.
I've been a digital culture reporter for the past decade, studying every facet of Twitch, YouTube, and influencer culture.
Actually, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna put it on 1.5. 1.5.
I've watched Asmongold go from a fairly small World of Warcraft guide creator into the largest political creator on a lot of platforms.
If I had my way, I would disenfranchise 85% of the population instantly. I would take away their right to vote.
And I wanted to know why. When I watch Asmongold, I just get uncomfortable.
Think about how close Kamala Harris came to winning the presidency, and then tell me that democracy is a good idea.
Things he says are so explicit and over the top that they really don't make sense to me.
Islamophobia is real, actually. It's not. It's not real. Always freak out. Always melt down. Always overreact, and never leave your opponent any breathing room, ever.
So I spent the past 6 months investigating Asmongold, figuring out why people like him. So I went directly to his viewers, a lot of whom I spoke to on X.
Steven literally, like, he is a reporter. He's a real reporter. He does, like, culture and tech reporting for Rolling Stone and whatnot. So, like, you know, that's the reason why I was going to watch it.
You even agreed to Discord calls with me. What I learned is that the average Asmongold viewer is a complex individual who
I've
doesn't
watched some
understand
of
why
this
the
stuff
world is
before.
the way it is, but blames DEI and women for the problems
Wait, what
that
did
they
you say?
experience. Is a complex individual who doesn't understand why the world is the way it is, but blames DEI and women for the problems that they experience. They are full of distrust and hate, but I think there's still hope here, because even in Asmongold's
He should have just ended it there. The average Asmongold doesn't understand what is going on. It's true.
there are some pieces that I agree with.
If $5 or $10 million should be the amount of money that you should be looking at people that have more than that and being like, why aren't you paying more and why aren't you giving out more of your money?
So thanks for coming and welcome to my channel. This is Stephen A. Sarge Talks.
It's a good take. I'm glad that Stephen put that in there, because that is a part of the complexity argument. Because he does actually have populist sentiment on both sides at times.
Billionaire says the bottom half of U.S. workers. And by the way, I do think that we have to give some credit to the socialists, to the communists. We do. And I hate to say this because they're so annoying. But I think that their rhetoric and their language has put pressures on guys like Jeff to use this language and to talk about this and to normalize things like this that will, I think, be better for most people. I do.
But for every, like, good take that he has, like that.
Yeah, it's just that's fucking stupid, though. That's a stupid policy. We shouldn't be asking, like, how can we cut more taxes? How can we cut more tax? Because what he was referencing there was something Jeff Bezos said about cutting taxes for low-wage workers. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that would be nice for them, for low-wage work, for myself, actually. It's just, that's not really gonna solve anything. In fact, that in some ways is going to make life in America much worse. Okay, because we're talking about defunding our institutions, which provide us with the little amount of services that we get. That's it.
That's very appealing to everyone. You know, that has mass appeal. I would say 80% of his commentary revolves around the other dumb shit and hatred. And also, it ultimately doesn't make any sense because he still eats Elon Musk's penis all the time.
I mean, I react to Asmongold, and I think 80% is being generous. I would say more like 95 to 99%. He's just constantly spewing hatred, vile racism, homophobia, transphobia, you know, all of it.
Asmongold fans don't want to talk. What's this? Let me pull it up. About a month or so back, I asked any Asmongold fans to meet me in the real world. What?
They have like a perception of him like he's like some sheltered hermit, like Jedi wizard that knows everything in the world, despite him not actually interacting with it.
I genuinely believe there are people here for his gaming takes, and I'm so worried that they're getting radicalized by Twitch's most powerful.
It's the Roosevelt quote. The reactionary is always willing to take a progressive attitude on any issue that is dead. The moment there's a chance it'll pass, he'll flip. Beautiful.
Yep.
Least research streamer. Let's go ahead and research. Let's look this person up and see what they've said about me.
Yeah, it would be poor research because he's not doing any research at all. He's literally just picking up a video and watching it.
So there's not even a single actual criticism that this person has for me.
When I hear Asmongold saying, provocative, intense things like, I don't know, certain groups of people need to be put in a mental institution, or if he doesn't express that much empathy for people dying, things like that, I'm not listening because I necessarily share that exact belief system as he does.
I don't have to go for trust, and I don't write hit pieces. I try to write my stories from a place of understanding. The understanding is basically saying that I'm an edgelord and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, but that's true. So he did do his research. You're just mad. Like, that's literally just true. This is not even an ideological disagreement that I have, and I think he's being fairly favorable here in this video as well, where he says that you're a complex individual. But you have openly admitted this. You literally say you don't do research. You don't have to do research. You don't have to read. All you need is game theory or a deep understanding of how human beings operate by self-interest.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, obviously nobody's going to engage with that. Definitely.
So who is Zach Hoyt, known as Asmongold? Born in Austin, Texas in 1990, Asmongold grew up in relative poverty, with two parents who really struggled to get by.
Things could have been worse for me, but yeah, we were very poor. Like, she made under poverty, like, every year, basically. I grew up in a house where my mom never really had a job, and we grew up in poverty. And my dad helped me out a bit, and he made sure that the lights stayed on, but that was about it.
He was obsessed with video games from a young age. In a rare interview from 2016, he tells a story of how he was running around with his friends pretending to be Halo Spartans, and that's where the name came from, and it just stuck. Asmongold never really wanted to do anything in life. He never really had any aspirations for anything grander than what he had.
I think the biggest indictment here is that he looks positively British in more ways than one. He's literally just British. Maybe that's why the Reform UK lads like this guy. They see a proper lad, a fucking Angloid, down to the fucking teeth. You're definitely banned from the UK now.
Describes his existence is just something that he did in order to get by. Video games were his
down to the
main
fucking teeth.
so that he didn't have to get a real job.
That was one of the reasons why I didn't have a job, is I didn't want one. Like, all I really wanted to do was collect government welfare and jerk off and play video games.
And as a dork/nerd/gamer myself, it's something I entirely understand. I got started in journalism, writing guides for League of Legends, because I didn't want to have to actually work. So I entirely relate to Asmongold on that point. Asmongold had a few jobs. He worked for the IRS and a few other smaller places. But his real love was World of Warcraft. It was a game that he dedicated his whole life to. He became one of the best warriors in the entire game, and decided it would be a good idea to post YouTube guides on how to be the best warrior and stuff like that. His channel—
Yeah, he did. He worked for the IRS. Yes, it's true.
—gained some success, but not too much. He was still very niche for a while.
I was making WoW YouTube videos, and then they said you should stream, and then I started streaming. That's exactly it. It worked really well. It did. I mean, my stream popped off immediately. Like, I immediately started doing well, and so, like, I was, like, totally locked in on this, and that's all I would do.
But after enough time on YouTube, he was able to make enough to survive.
Is that the reason why I dropped out is that I was making $1,500 a month, and I was like, okay, well, I can make a living on $1,500 a month. Why would I need more than $1,500 a month?
It wasn't until 2019 when World of Warcraft Classic came out, which took the game back to its roots of just endless grinding, where you don't need to accomplish anything in your life. You just need to play World of Warcraft all day. That Asmongold really soared in viewership. He became the main World of Warcraft streamer, and his audience bloomed in popularity.
You have a vermin problem? Hi.
A lot of people found him during this time, including
Alan Hawkswood,
a 43-year-old Australian who loved World of Warcraft.
I don't necessarily watch all his videos. I kind of dip in and out. Look, I think in a lot of I probably didn't watch him for the first few years. It's probably only really after he became big.
Alan, we spoke for about 40 minutes and seemed like a very lonely man. He has people he knows from work, but all of his friends are people he knows online.
I have a very small friend group of true friends that I've been with for 20 plus years, but that is essentially the only friends I really have.
Alan says he lives like Asmongold, a fairly gross individual. I think, he made jokes at the time about having a dead rat that would smell when the sun came up, so he knew it was time to wake up.
The thing is, I used to use a dead rat as an alarm clock, actually, for my stream, because basically what happened
I love this clip.
Whenever the sun would come up, it would start cooking the corpse of the rat.
And he had bits of blood smeared on his wall from his poor hygiene, and his room was relatively disgusting.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I essentially live the same way.
Oh, God, this is... Okay, this is a little bit like confirmation bias for me, but, I mean, this is literally what I have suspected all along, which is that Asmongold, remember I had this conversation with Felix when we were talking about the evolution of reactionary thought and the evolution of reactionary content. At some point it went from like contentious politics, Ben Shapiro doing debates, intellectualism, to aspirational politics with the likes of Andrew Tate, which was no longer about, trying to engage in any sort of like pseudo-intellectual representation of your ideas. And the final evolution is representational politics. A lot of people like Asmongold, regardless of the fact that Asmongold's a multi-millionaire, numerous business owner, right? He owns multiple businesses and makes tens of millions of dollars a year.
This is true.
For a lot of people, they look to Asmongold as a hero.
He owns like,
oh my
5
God, he made it while also being
gaming
a schlub,
leagues,
like also being kind of disgusting. Like he lives like a depressed agoraphobic, and a lot of people in his fan base are depressed agoraphobics who look to Asmongold as like this beacon, this hero, this representation.
I can see, what, 5 cans, empty cans right now, 2 coffee bottles, there's clothes on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a messy person, so I don't judge him for his hygiene.
I don't take pride living in garbage or not. It's simply something that I don't care about.
He lives in squalor and hates immigration, which he says doesn't make him a bad person. It's because he's Australian.
What's that place with the kangaroos? They couldn't get rid of them. What's it called? Not Arizona, it's something like that. Australia.
Things like the Great Replacement Theory / replacing the population obviously appeals a little bit more to me because I believe it is a possibility for us, unfortunately.
But he's also pro-fascism.
I think, once again, as you said, the pro-fascism. But once again, in Australia, in certain regards, I still believe 100% we need fascism.
Now, how did we arrive at this worldview from being an Asmongold watcher? That's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know.
Fucking bogan, bro. Fucking bogan, bro.
And Asmongold was just there for him. He watched him multiple hours a day.
Fucking bogus.
Asmongold was just part of his life.
I am very different to a lot of normal
Yeah,
people.
bloody bogus.
I probably agreed with, say, 90% of them. In a sense, he became a news source.
In a world where streamers were standing in like fancy houses and being superstars, there was Asmongold sitting in his filth, talking about how he just wants to play World of Warcraft all day and hang out. The money and the fame never got to him. He's still the same disgusting gremlin that he was when he was still making just a few guides for a few $1,000s.
See, but he doesn't have to wear the I'm holier than thou veneer because
It's aesthetics. See, I clocked this.
Yep.
Remember, I told you, his fan base associates his nastiness with relatability and also decency. Like their brains are so rewired and so busted in many respects that they think people fall for this grift and call him an everyday man. Yeah, be Asmongold, eat beef jerky for 2 square meals, eat fast food for dinner, top it off with ice cream, fall asleep in your chair, watching anime. That's why he's popular. He's the modern everyman. Yeah. They associate his horrifying hygiene habits with authenticity, when in fact, maybe it is authentically himself. Maybe he's just a nasty little pervert, right? Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, he is.
Each their own.
I think
But
he is.
He is unbelievably out of
'Cause
touch.
why-
And if you see yourself,
Yeah, why would you present yourself like this online if you weren't actually like that, you know? I feel like it is like a popular demand, right? Like, people love this about Asmongold. Okay, but I still don't think that somebody who wasn't like this would, like, genuinely present themselves in this way. But, you know, the fact of the matter is, Asmongold doesn't have to live like this. Not just because he could, like, clean up after himself, but he has so much fucking money, he's rolling in it. He could just buy a person to do it, or like, hire them to do it, I mean. It would be nothing for him. It'd be like a drop in the bucket, okay? Like, the rest of us are over here, like, you know, say what you will about people that live in squalor. Like, it, you know, they would have to invest their time into, like, most of us do it anyway, but, like, we have to clean our house, I cleaned the floors this morning, I did the dishes, right, I did all that shit, it's like, I get why some people opt out of it, but it makes no sense to me with Asmon. Like, you could just spend a little bit of money, and it'd go a long way. So, I think this is genuinely how he is used to living, but, like, at this point, it's just LARP, because, like, he's rich, okay? He could easily hire someone to just pick up around his house, and they would do it for a little bit of money. That's it. I mean, like, getting the house cleaned initially, that might, you know, the upfront cost might be a little pricey, but, like, it can't be more than $1,000, $2,000, and then after that, you just, you know, have someone come once a week, dust some things off, you know, wipe down some tables, take out the trash. It'd be, you know, it's nothing. Yet so my point is he chooses to live like this because it makes him seem like a relatable person. That's it.
Authentically degenerate person, then you probably are unbelievably out of touch as well. This is the problem. But they think, oh, he's just like me. He lives just like me. He doesn't care to generate more value. He's not greedy. He's a regular guy. He's just like me. It's like, bitch, you're not a regular guy. How do you not understand this? You're not a regular guy. If you live like Asmongold, you're not regular, okay? You're irregular. It's not a normal way to live. You need to snap out of it. Like, this is, depending on the level of depression and anxiety you're probably experiencing on a daily basis, you might need medical intervention. You know what I mean? It's not normal.
True.
But on the internet, it is. Because who spends the most amount of time on the internet? Who is more likely to create an account that says Christian, father, husband, and shit poster in that order, daka daka, like a white nationalist anime account? A guy who is like Asmongold, an irregular person, because regular people are not doing this. And that's precisely the reason why the internet is inundated with irregular folks. And what is irregular in the real world becomes very regular on the internet. And that actually has a damaging cycle that it creates as well, where, because everyone is increasingly more online, this might actually end up reproducing more people like this, and maybe at a certain point turn this irregularity into a regularity. Does that make sense?
Because of obviously he lives in Squalor, doesn't turn around and say, I'm better than you.
After his 2019 explosion, Asmongold started to diversify into different spaces. He co-founded OTK with a few of his friends, and Mythic Talent, a talent agency. He started.
Wait, that sort of executive dysfunction is not the sort of thing you snap out of. If we had universal services, we would have had help and been a totally different person. No, I know, but I'm saying that these guys don't even see anything at odds with that. They think this is a healthy and normal way to live. And Asmongold does have the capacity. You're talking about a guy who makes like $10 million a year. Again, owns 5 businesses. Like, he's not like his fan base. His fan base might not recognize that there's an issue there. Asmongold has all of the capacity to fix everything, and he just chooses not to.
A podcast and really started to expand outside.
It's for the vibes.
And really exploded in 2022.
I lived like that for 5 years, undiagnosed and untreated neurodivergence and task paralysis. It was years of you saying exercising could build my confidence back up. That's right. That's why I try to be a better example for the people that are watching. He literally does say he's better than you if you're brown. Also, Asmon did have state help. He was on Snap. He's just insane. He's received state help and talked about how his family needed it to survive. Yeah, I know. And now he just, makes money, tens of millions of dollars every year, denying it to others.
During the Amber Heard trial, when all of these commentary streamers were reacting every single day to what was going on with Amber Heard.
Called Palestinians inferior.
For themselves.
Here we go. Let's do it.
And he says similar shit all the
I
time.
got the most strays out of this, even though I had the most balanced take, where I was just like, I don't like either party involved here. And everybody still yells at me.
Wonderland.
Stop both siding this. There is, dude, if you can't both sides, I don't know what to tell you. You're such a radical centrist on this.
And everybody still yells at me. When virtually every content creator in the entire internet was primarily on Johnny Depp's side. And once again, the one motherfucker that was like, I don't like either of these people. I think they're both weird. Every person was like, you're the reason. And they will. Now they'll latch onto it and they'll yell at me even further. It's crazy. See, people still do it. No, you were wrong on that one. Sorry.
I don't really know much about the case, to be honest.
Johnny Depp is bad. I don't even like Johnny Depp. I hate Johnny Depp. I don't care. I have no dog in this fight.
All I remember is that she shit in his bed, which I thought was really fucking funny, man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Watching the trial,
Like, I mean, look, is it insane to shit in someone's bed? Yes. Yes. Okay, if a man does it, if a woman does it to their partner, that's you're off your fucking rocker. But and I said this back, I remember when this shit happened, man. You don't just do that out of nowhere, right? Nobody does that, dog. Nope. I'm just saying, I don't know what he did. I ain't saying he deserved it. I mean, nobody deserves that, no matter what you do. But dude, just nobody was asking that question. Like, why did she shit in his bed? Why, like, I thought that was kind of weird at the time. I was like, wait, she shit in his bed? Why the fuck would you do that?
The whole concept was stupid. Myself, when I'd heard it, it was, people were watching it, but I just happened to click on it. I think it was because the thumbnail or something just kind of caught my attention. It was good clickbait, I suppose. I don't know. His reactions were funny. Watching Johnny Depp, the way they clipped him was funny.
Zenbane said his great-great-great-grandmother was a school teacher in Mexico, and she came here properly. So she's a good immigrant. But all these bad immigrants, they're the problem. They're the ones causing our world to get worse.
Mm-hmm. She didn't come here jobless and try to live here, illegally. There is no illegal immigration in my family. This might even be controversial to say, but any disparity we're going to feel throughout life, it's going to come more so from our own people than from someone outside of our culture. So essentially, if we define what happens when we say that was racist, right? Someone says a bad slur, someone beats you up, or just someone prevents you from advancing in life at a job, like any of those things you're going to experience, we're going to, as Hispanics, we're going to most likely experience those more from other Hispanics than from someone who's black or white.
He described Asmongold as a street preacher.
I'm going to use Sasanic as an example. He's more like trying to come across like the Pope. Everyone should listen to me. Whereas Asmongold is the wacky homeless guy on the side of the road, holding the Bible and just screaming his interpretation of the Bible.
I like this guy going, who I think, like, even in his worldview, I know he's trying to use that as a negative, like he's saying I'm the negative force here, but yeah, I think the Pope would be more knowledgeable on Catholicism than the random street preacher who's, by your own
I'm gonna listen to the crackhead on the subway.
That's wild. Like, he just is annoying because he is the Pope in this equation, a position of authority he has, and I hate that I choose voluntarily to listen to the guy who is not knowledgeable and genuinely insane. He said, between the Pope and the hobo, I'm getting my Christianity from the hobo. Look, maybe I'm weird, and I recognize that. But I believe that we have a finite amount of time on God's green earth. So if I'm putting information into my brain, there are moments where I'm looking for entertainment. Certainly, right? I watch anime, I watch movies, I listen to comedy podcasts every now and then. But if I'm listening to something to develop a better understanding of it, I'm definitely not going to a guy that I'm going to self-describe as a crazy person. I don't see any utility in that at all. I don't have time to just sit there and listen to what Asmongold has to say, because I know he doesn't know anything. And I genuinely can't comprehend why people do that. Like, I'll watch valuetainment, right? I watch bad shit. But oftentimes I watch it to derive some satisfaction out of it, just to like make fun of it, or to make content for you guys to consume, or to sometimes directly tackle the ideas that they're representing, to develop a deeper understanding of what the oppositional figures are saying and thinking.
Exactly. Exactly. It, right? Thank you for saying this, Hassan.
Sit around and listen to
Holy shit,
because I know he doesn't know what the he's talking about, so I cannot comprehend why other people do this. And
you know, when I hear him say this, I know I'm on the right path. Right? Because there have been times where I've asked myself, like, is it really worth, like, reacting to these fucking weirdos? These right-wing charlatans, these VTubers, right? All of them. The new wave Ben Shapiro types, too. And you know, of course, Asmongold. And I've come to the conclusion, not in this moment, although this does reaffirm it, but I've come to the conclusion that, yes, it is worth it. And sometimes it's really fucking funny. So I'm gonna keep doing it.
See, this is the mindset of the average Asmongold fan. I just described why I'm watching oppositional figures. Like, in the process of me describing to you why I would be watching a video like this one, which is not Asmongold, mind you. I'm watching an actual tech reporter who's a fairly smart guy do a deep dive and analysis into why Asmongold's fandom is invested in Asmongold.
In 2024, he was banned from Twitch for a brief period for describing Palestinians as
terrible people. These people are not your allies. They are not
classic.
The same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity and is directly everything Western values stand for.
Classic Asmon.
Inferior culture in all ways.
From there, he did apologize somewhat, saying,
I said something about it that was disgusting. I think that I've been slowly devolving into the most mean-spirited.
I like that he had like a second and a half of introspection and then quintupled it down in ways that one could have previously never foreseen. Like, he literally had 1 week of being like, yeah, I think this politics stuff is just making me really like a bad person. And then he was like, actually, I really enjoy the amount of love and admiration I receive from people who live in identical conditions to me all around the world.
His lines on what is fair and what isn't are really confusing. Weirdly enough, he does believe that a universal basic income is a good thing and that you should help the poor.
I think it's okay if they want to buy cookies with food stamps because, in my opinion, it's just cookies, man. Let a person have a little bit of dignity.
He doesn't like immigrants. He doesn't like people. He doesn't care for anyone that is outside of his own bubble.
The West has a huge problem that we have an infection and we refuse to admit that there's a problem. There is clearly a problem. There is clearly an affliction, and there is also clearly a solution. But they don't want to talk about that because it might make them feel bad. That has to stop.
And when you're watching someone 8 hours a day, that sort of diatribe really infects who you are as a person. So I decided I needed to figure out who watches Asmongold. So in December of 2025, I put out a tweet saying, if you live in New York City, I would love to talk to you. And I got hundreds of responses, all of which said, absolutely not. Some of them said I was trying to make a trap, that I was going to record them, even though I said it was going to be an off-the-record talk. I just wanted to figure out who they were, and they all hated the idea so much. I also got a lot of valuable answers. People seem to love Asmongold because they love to spend time with someone who is genuine. The fact that he is someone real, that he is someone you can hang out with, that he doesn't seem like he's faking it. And I don't necessarily believe that's a...
Look, he's a standard caricature of a gamer, not some LA yacht streamer. Whenever he starts talking politics, though, I tune it out. This YouTuber got him. He mentioned he felt inferior by stuck in an Elden Ring, which made him into a white supremacist. No, I think he was kind of there, and then he got a little taste of the clout with the Amber Heard saga, and then he just kept going.
A good thing for a content creator, because those people may not have your best interest.
Well, I'm not in New York City. Obviously, I'll tell you why people might feel that way, whether they agree or not. He doesn't sugarcoat how he feels. He's blunt and totally honest. I'll be honest myself. I hate a lot of what he says, but he still managed to get me to watch regardless.
It's hard. I don't think Asmongold has...
I'm willing to bet every single person that wrote this under that comment has deep, tremendous disdain for me. For a lot of these guys, like, their understanding of politics ends and begins with content creators on the internet. There is no worldview beyond it. There is no politics beyond it. It's just like, I hate Hassan. I love Asmongold. I love Asmongold. I hate Hassan. That type of shit.
Anyone's best interest at heart other than himself. He just...
Like us? Buddy, my community despises when I cover Asmongold for more than 3.5 minutes. This is the first time I've watched a long, extensive Asmongold video. This community doesn't give a f about Asmongold. Are you insane? At most, sometimes when he says some heinous shit, we cover it. But more often than not, throughout the entire day, we're just talking about the news. Like, I just interviewed a candidate running for Senate for an hour and a half. What are you talking about? And when you say us, I suspect you're not even a fan. You're just in here LARPing as a fan.
I like talking about
understand
Asmongold.
the space that I occupy.
I'd be doing that shit.
I have a very clear-cut purpose, a very clear-cut goal, an agenda. I have a worldview. I'm not shy about explaining what my worldview is, and I bake it into all the news coverage that I do throughout the day. I see my role, my job, my responsibility as someone who is going to navigate the world of news every single day for whoever wants to come in here and learn what the f is going on. That's it. That's my job. There are, of course, instances where I'll dive into silly shit, meme around, make jokes, maybe even play a video game every now and then, every 8 months or so. But through thick and thin, through the highs and the lows, whether people are watching or whether people are not paying attention, I'm always in here covering the day's news every single day. That's what I'm doing.
Wants to be able to like live how he wants to live. The money he makes means nothing to him.
I got a 1099 and it was like millions of dollars. I don't even know where it came from.
You probably have $6 to $8 million left after taxes.
More than that, probably. A lot more than that.
Really?
He doesn't want to grow off of it. He just wants to like exist and again, not have to work. And the people who watch him, I think, feel similarly. They just want to be able to watch and not think and just hang out. So about a month after I do that tweet, I put out another tweet, which is basically my thoughts on Asmongold. I will let Asmongold read my tweet, so I don't have to.
About a month or so back, I asked any Asmongold fans to meet me in the real world. What? But none of them took me up on the offer. Instead, I got hundreds of replies and messages saying that I didn't understand them, how I should just watch the streams and not the clips. So I did, and I learned that Zach doesn't care. He'll put out a video that he doesn't understand the full context of and rant about it with extreme right-wing bias. It's vitriol for 6 hours straight. A hand-picked selection of clips designed to invoke anger without critical thinking. I genuinely believe there are people here for his gaming takes, and I'm so worried that they're getting radicalized by Twitch's most powerful and least researched streamer.
He read it on stream and was quite pissed.
This guy is like, he's randomly trying, meet me in real life. Yeah, obviously, random people don't want to meet some dumbass in real life. Let's see what this guy's saying about me.
And then his fans came after me hard. They were ready to, call me all sort of names. But out of that tweet, I managed to get conversations going with a few actual Asmongold fans. People who agreed that, hey, maybe it's a good time to kind of leave the echo chamber. Because Asmongold believes that you should stay within the echo chamber.
So the problem that I have is that whenever I want to interact with somebody, or somebody wants to interact with me, usually that's like a non-starter because I don't want to talk to anybody. What's a good time for you? Never. Never. That's the answer. Never.
Whenever Destiny or Hassan want to debate him these days, he turns it down because the idea of having your views questioned is completely unacceptable to Asmongold.
Oh, yeah.
I have no obligation to do anything.
And it's really funny because like Destiny fans will say this about me as well, and it's like, no, I just don't want to be around Destiny. I talk to people that I disagree all the time. I do debates in public. I go outside. I do debates that I set up ahead of time with people like Sean Hannity, and then they escape me. I'm setting one up with Van Jones. I just don't want to fucking be anywhere near that weirdo. But I'll debate anybody else, pretty much.
And there are some people...
He doesn't want to debate anybody. He doesn't want anyone to question him at all.
People that think that...
Yeah, Charlie Kirk dodged me too. So does Sean Hannity. Is f***ed up.
Because I disagree with you so
Okay,
much,
Charlie Kirk was
have
coming
an
back, though. He was
obligation
coming
to
back
want
for
to win or
seconds.
something.
I do think if you do political commentary, I think there should
Charlie
be
Kirk dodged me. Yo,
confrontation.
that's a crazy way to put it, Hassan.
Run off into their own corners and
He tried dodging that bullet. That's what he tried to do.
No.
He wants to exist in this world.
Rest in
he wants
peace, man.
to be that sort of guy that doesn't have his stuff questioned. He wants to exist in the filth. Throughout all these conversations and all these tweets, what I learned is that the average Asmongold fan just wants to live in their own echo chamber. They just want to relate to a guy who they feel is like them. I don't want to make fun of these people, but the first openly said how much he loves fascism. The second one was a fourth-generation Mexican immigrant who believes that immigration is a bad thing. And the third made me a whole PowerPoint about Hassan's armpits.
Who am I? None of your business.
Black Druid. He reached out to me with extreme animosity and really
I'll meet you.
this guy. He gave me a list of 5 rules.
Oh my god, brother, what? This is, I told you. It's like there are entire circles on the internet where they just sit around and have psychosexual, pathological obsessions with what they perceive I'm doing on a daily basis. It is such a strange way to fucking live. These are the great names you click. By the way, no, I know.
Before we even spoke,
great
including not
names.
asking his name or any personal information, which is pretty hard for an interview because that's kind of the whole point. But once we got talking, it got even stranger.
Asmongold isn't a right-winger. He's been, as far as Overwatch, going back all the way to the Dark Souls days, he's always been left-wing. If you want, I'm just going to send a quick photo to you so you can just take a look.
Oh my god, another European. Wait, what the? Bro, you're just mentally ill. You're like a mentally ill Euroid chud. You need to stop. Bro, you have socialized medicine, okay? I can hear it in your accent. Go to the hospital. Check into the hospital, big dog. What the are you doing? You're not even taking advantage
That's a really good point,
You
actually.
want to argue on whether or not Asmongold...
How the fuck do you get this bad in Europe? Like, unironically, you have, like, free access. You can go to a therapist anytime. Any fucking time. Like, I don't really want therapy. You know, I'm gonna be real with you. Maybe that's a tell. I don't know. I am kind of insane, okay? But like I'm like manic insane. I like it. I like how insane I am. But like, if you're European, at least I can say, you know, even if I wanted it, it's like, it's hundreds of dollars. Like, if it were free, and maybe I had like a little bit more free time, I would consider going to therapy and like doing all that shit. But like, it's just so not worth it in America. You have to shell out hundreds of dollars or more, thousands even, right? This is before you're even medicated. Okay, this is before they even like give you drugs or whatever if you need them. Okay, and it's stupid. It's fucking stupid. What the fuck? And you're a European, and you're this mentally ill. It makes no fucking
Argue
sense,
on
man.
The policies that he advances, that he advocates for. Why do you have to compare him to me? Like, this is betraying the entire project. Like, you basically give the game away. Your entire understanding of the world revolves around Twitch streamers, man. Fuck.
Had created an entire PowerPoint where he showed why Hassan is worse than Asmongold. Because Hassan had a horse growing up, and Asmon was the goated Chad who lived in squalor. These were benefits to him. Black Drew giggled when I used the term POC.
Get that there are like POCs in media?
Sorry, can you say that?
There are POCs in media?
POC.
As a person of color.
I'm not sure if you know, but I'm brown myself, so I'm not really sure what you were expecting. But let's move on.
And believes that DEI is what is killing video games, and went on a long rant about.
I know for a fact that if they were to appeal to like this woke ideology, they also lose a lot of money. Like you can look at the video game, for example, Dragon Age. I would actually assume that a lot of them have felt attacked by journalists. That basically their whole space of the gaming sphere, because they've catered to the woke crowd, they've lost billions. We can just talk about Conqueror if
Bro, he thinks he's cooking.